Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. It is day 4 on my journey back into keto. If you're new to my channel, check out my day 0 video. It's where I talk about my motivations, reasons, for doing this video series. I'm hoping you'll stick around, keto with me. All right, it's time to check out my daily clip. All right, as you can see from the daily video clip that I introduced a new item, some BHB. We'll get to that a couple more times here before the end of the video. It's the weekend. I did get more sleep. We'll see that in the goals here very shortly. But I was actually quite run down, which again we'll talk about here in a second in a little bit more detail. Let's go over the numbers. So I was able to, keep my carbs around 24, actually at 24, which is really good. But I did notice a slight drop in my ketones, according to, the sticks that I'm using. So I dropped down from, arguably this range right here, because like I said yesterday, it was kind of, in between that, down to the, 4.0 or 40 range on the the ketones. So that's okay. I'm still still pleased with that. I knew it was going to kind of happen, so I'm not expecting every day to be perfect and stuff like that. So other news here, my weight, I only dropped 0.8 on the weight, so that gives me a total of 3.2 to date. I'm sorry, 4.2 to date, which I think is still pretty respectable. Something else interesting about day 4, I was actually able to go to about noon without actually eating anything substantial. I did have, one of my what I call fat coffees, with the with butter and whipping cream earlier. So I was not like I was fasting or anything like that. And then later, when later in this, maybe next week when I actually do some fasting, we'll talk about, like, do you count black coffee? Do you not? And everyone, I think, has an opinion on that, so be on the lookout for a little discussion on that next week. So I alluded to, adding. Well, I said I added something to my, to the daily, my daily actions. So, which was BHB, and it's because today, or actually yesterday, when day 4 was occurring, I was like really starting to get run down. And then I remembered that you'll find out I love Dr. Boz, so she has a, she helps you mitigate, running into this keto flu, so I do believe that, my body's switching over you know, it's fuel source now. I'm, you know, my brain's not necessarily prepared for it yet, and you know, and my body's not really either. So I'm kind of, you know, running a little low on energy here. So I did introduce that, and we'll talk about that. That has a lot to do with my video recommendation coming up. So more on that in a minute, and the keto flu and how Dr. Boz can help you get over that with her suggestions. So, all right, it's that time to talk about my goals and to see if my pit of success is working. So let me get my spreadsheet up here. All right, so you'll see right off the bat, category 1, sleep. You know, I've got 7.5 hours sleep with 0 times getting up. I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to start sleeping better. If I didn't have the keto flu, I probably would feel even better from that. So that's actually really good. And I'm going to do an audible here. I'm going to move my category to here. I forgot to do that before prepping for the video. But you'll see that I considered that to be like better or best. I could arguably even say it's kind of like beast mode, but I'm kind of waiting for that, you know, not experiencing something else with it, because it's hard to kind of really gauge, you know, how I benefit from that, at least as far as sleep goes. All right, let's move on to the eating category. Again, I'm skipping fasting for now, but I do see that coming up real quick. When we look at my video recommendation, Dr. Boz will mention fasting, or if you watch the video, you'll see that she mentions fasting as one of the ways to get ketones really burning. So looking forward to that. That's less to track actually, and you know, less to worry about. All right, moving on to the style, you'll see that I still have it listed as lazy dirty. Yesterday was interesting because I had a lot of stuff we were doing at the house, and you know, I didn't even eat like a meal until noon, and you know, it was leftovers. So, and then when, you know, the evening came, it was like actually we were hooking up a new stove, so it was like didn't have really anything to cook on, so it ended up being more leftovers, you know. So again, there's some elements of you know, clean, there's elements of, you know, dirty in there. So I again, like my video mentioned the other day about the keto police, I don't really care what they think. You know, it's working for me, and it worked out for the day. So I just wish I didn't have the keto flu. So as you can see, I got 24 carbs. You know, that was really good. So the previous day from going out, I was at like 30 something. Now I'm back down to 24. So that I think is really good. I'm still doing really well on that. I have to, man, I really did not update my sheet today for this video. So let me go ahead and redo that as well. So I did watch a video. You'll find out what video that is. So I met my, you know, my standard basically for learning. Tracking, I did exactly the same thing as I did before. Got my, you know, I decided to go ahead and keep this out in front of me the whole time for reference. I was worried when I started the series that people would thought that I was like reading a script or something like that, but you know, lots of good information, you know, that I've been tracking. I also been tracking in Chronometer, you know, to get the, you know, my food counts and macros and all that stuff. So I think I'm nailing that really well. Also, I had time. I just took yesterday and just kind of went off by myself and just relaxed, did a couple meditations, you know, very excited about that. And then lastly, again, no exercise yet. I didn't do anything that resembled exercise at all. So once I start doing that, you'll see those things, you know, we'll start recording stuff in that category. So for overall how the day went, considering it was fairly busy, hectic at the house, and you know, having no stove to cook off, you know, I was still able to manage and get things done. You know, so, and then, you know, we're going to talk about the, you know, how I'm trying to mitigate, you know, this lack of energy from, you know, the fuel switchover in the video recommendation, which is coming up right now. Let's get to my video recommendation for today. It's another Dr. Boz video. It was one that I watched, you know, a while ago, quite a while ago. And it's 19 minutes and 43 seconds long, but it's really worth it. You know, the base discussion has to do with like glucose versus ketones and how your body processes fuels, you know, and so forth. So, and then, you know, she even talks in there, she shows you the study that was done where, you know, they actually proved that the brain prefers ketones over glucose. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and really does make a lot of sense. You know, as you transition into keto, at some point you'll start to realize that, wow, I am really on point with stuff. This is really helping me a lot. So one key highlight about her video is that, and I had forgotten about it, is that, you know, in order to prepare for that switch over, you know, from that, you know, glucose to, as she calls it, quick burning kindling, I think is what she called it, kindling, and then and then to the, let's put, you know, like ketones in there, and I think she referred to that as like a long burning log. You know, it's like, you know, you'll get long energy from that and so forth. And I 100% agree with that. I just forgot that she had said that, hey, you should start taking some BHB, you know, which is what you see over here. You know, it's basically exogenous ketones. If you start taking it like a week or two, I think she said, before you actually start keto, it makes the transition and helps with the keto flu a lot. So the interesting thing about that comment is that, you know, these ketones really only stay in your body, at least as far as like any, you know, from what I noticed, anything is like, they only stay in like 2 or 3 hours. So it's, but I do think that it preps your brain. I don't remember every little detail about the video, but it does prep your brain, you know, for it. This is just a brand that, you know, I found I didn't really want to do like a liquid one. It's just one more thing for me to have, you know, like drink or something like that. So I like, you know, using these. I'd forgotten where I got the referral for these, but these actually work really well. Yesterday I took two times a day, and the serving says 4 capsules, but I only took 2, and it did seem to help some with my energy. Whatever you do, don't take these before you do any ketone measurements, because it will just be like off the chart. You'll be like, wow, my ketones are super high. So I took I think in the morning, and then I took it again in the afternoon, but any ketones from this would have been out of my system before I measured them, you know, for this, you know, for this morning. So anyway, I think it helps. I trust, you know, Dr. Boz on that, and, you know, she has her own product line where she has her own BHB that, you know, she promotes and so forth. So you'll see that when you watch her video. So you might like to get hers over, you know, something like this. The video name kind of says it all too, Beginner's Guide to Ketosis. So I think that says a lot. I think you'll enjoy it. It's definitely worth taking, you know, 19, 20 minutes to watch, you know, so I hope you'll enjoy my recommendation for today. That's it for day 4. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm hoping that you'll stick around and keto with me. So if you do, please, you know, like, subscribe, you know, to my series, so you'll get notifications. Also, if you have something to say, please leave some comments or questions down below. I will definitely answer them. And you know, remember what I always say: be a coach, not a critic. You know, we're all out here just trying to learn. So thanks everyone, and take care.